2. Here we go. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Colin right, Colin wrong in 5 minutes. 3 minutes, excuse me. Also, Winston Moss, a Packers coach a week ago, no longer a Packers coach. Some thoughts on Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers played his best game of the year yesterday as Mike McCarthy leaves. That's coming up here in 15 minutes. Joy Taylor is joining me for hour number 2. We have breaking news, Joy.
That's what we do around here. Big J journalism.
Big J journalism. The Raiders have fired Reggie McKenzie, their general manager. John Gruden came in with a 10-year contract. It's officially his franchise. They got rid of Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper. Those were Reggie McKenzie guys. Derek Carr's next. There's rumors John Gruden's getting rid of him. This is John's franchise. He's been getting rid of Reggie McKenzie, lower draft pick since he got there. It's a power move. Once you gave a 10-year contract and that kind of money to a head coach, which is unheard of in the NFL, Belichick doesn't have that kind of contract. Gruden, it's his franchise. It's on him going forward. Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper, by the way, are having sensational years, so I don't think it looks great for John Gruden that the two guys he gave up on are leading their division. Khalil Mack with the Bears, who was great last night, and Amari Cooper for the Cowboys, who was great last night. But the Raiders are officially, like we already knew it, John Gruden's franchise. They have whacked, and by the way, I don't think it's a coincidence, they whacked the general manager after they beat the Steelers, so John's feeling pretty good about himself today. John's got a lot of power. John's saying, I told you so. My way is working. I just beat the Steelers. They walk in, fire Reggie McKenzie. That's the way the world works. 10-year contracts. Watch out. Stay out of the way of people with 10-year contracts, because in sports, that is, I mean, LeBron doesn't have a 10-year contract. That is power. All right, here we go on a Monday where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong.
Where Colin was right?
Blazing 5 rebounds. We had a 4-1 week, had a chance to go 5-0, which I do maybe once every other year. I took the Bears to upset the Rams. I like the Niners over Denver, Dolphins in Green Bay. We are 39-29-2, so we're getting closer to 59-60%, which is always our goal. It was a very good week for us in sports picks.
Where Colin was wrong.
Patrick Mahomes is now completing no-look passes. Patrick Mahomes is going to win the most valuable player award, and he's probably going to win it by a landslide. It's not that I don't like him. It's that I thought he was a little raw out of college. Andy Reid kept texting me, watch out, this kid is different. You're going to see. But I also like his maturity. There has been a ton of hype around this young man. Really mature. By the way, had to deal with the Kareem Hunt situation, was a total leader, very mature. He's got a lot of those Dak qualities I like, a lot of those Andrew Luck qualities I like. There's a lot of humility here. And do I think Andy Reid deserves a lot of this credit? Do I love Andy Reid? Yes. But Patrick Mahomes is now making no-look passes, and he is a transcendent talent. There's just certain players who can do stuff nobody else can. I like Carson Wentz. He looks when throwing. I mean, Patrick's a special kid.
Where Colin was right?
Well, we love the Amari Cooper deal. We said Dallas needs a receiver. It's now a receivers league. Let's just do it. And I got to be honest, he's been terrific. And it feels like he's getting better every week. And Dak is the kind of quarterback, he's not going to throw guys open. He's got to throw to guys that are open. And I always liked Amari Cooper. He was a great high school player. He was the #1 high school receiver in the country. Then he was a great college player. He was a hell of an NFL player in Oakland. And then he had, kind of a rough year in Oakland. Well, guess what? It's toxic there. Environment matters. Amari Cooper, 3 touchdowns, over 200 yards, 10 catches, has always been an excellent player. And excellent players are worth #1 picks.
Where Colin was wrong.
Now, I would not have taken Saquon Barkley with the #2 pick because I thought the Giants needed a quarterback. But I got to give this kid respect. He's been a workhorse. He's been terrific. He's probably going to win the Rookie of the Year. And you know what? He's exactly what he was in college. He was a home run hitter in college who got you about 5.5 yards a carry, and you could give him the ball 20 times. And in one Giants game this year, he took the ball 27 times. 13 touchdowns, 9 rushing, 4 receiving. I thought he was going to be more Reggie Bush. I thought he was going to do a bunch of this stuff, a bunch of home runs, but you can't give him the ball 20 times. He's just too small. But the NFL right now is more wide open There are more teams in the NFL playing what they call nickel and dime packages, meaning you're getting tackled by small corners now more than ever, not big linebackers. And Saquon Barkley, I would have taken a quarterback, but you can't deny this if you're a Giants fan. He has absolutely added a dynamic that was not available in the draft. And I like the other running backs. He's been special.
Where Colin was right?
I said about a month ago, I like the Rams, but this team's got issues. They're kind of turning LA soft. I think you can run against them. I think they're good when they're comfortable, but when it got a little noisy in New Orleans, they folded. When it got a little noisy last year in Minnesota, it folded. When it got a little cold in Chicago, they folded. And I thought Matt Nagy's offense, I think they're doing more in Chicago with less talent in Los Angeles. And don't get me wrong, I think they're a really good football team. But I said this about a month ago. I watch every snap. And they've got holes on this team. They got a lot of frontline stars like Ndamukong Suh and Aqib Talib, but they don't have a lot of depth. I think they really miss wide receiver Cooper Kupp. I think they overpaid for wide receiver Brandon Cooks, who I think is good, but Sean Payton and Bill Belichick let him go for a reason. He kind of disappears in big spots. The Rams are good. They're not great. We were right on that.
Where Colin was wrong.
Listen, Baker and the Browns are 5-7-1, third place. Let's not go crazy here, okay? Pittsburgh and Baltimore are the two best teams in their division. But I was very critical of John Dorsey, the general manager. I said, I wouldn't take Baker one. I wouldn't have taken a corner. I got to tell you, Baker's been productive. Denzel Ward was inactive yesterday, but he's had a great rookie year at corner. And I did love Nick Chubb, the running back. Their top three picks have been absolutely great. Now, they took a receiver, Antonio Callaway, 4. He's hot and cold. But the first three picks, I disagreed strongly with 2 of their first 3 picks. And they've both been super productive players. Listen, man, if you can bring a kid out of college and he can win you games, that's a good pick. It may not be my pick, but John Dorsey deserves an apology. I was wrong. He did a really good job. He went and got good players who are winning games.
Where Colin was right?
I don't know if rest of you bailed on Andrew Luck. I don't know if you noticed that Andrew Luck pretty much single-handedly ended the Texans' 9-game winning streak. Folks, Frank Reich and Andrew Luck, and you can give credit to whoever you want, T.Y. Hilton, Andrew Luck is spectacular. Just absolutely spectacular. And Frank Reich has come in with his team, and he's been so smart with Andrew Luck. A lot of quick dropbacks, gets rid of the ball very quickly. Andrew's going to throw interceptions because he takes chances. But the rest of the world bailed on this football team, and I told you a month ago, I said, keep your eye on the Colts. This is an offensive league. They're not gifted defensively, but they play their arse off defensively. And in 2 games against Houston, Luck's got 865 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Where Colin was wrong.
I've always felt Harbaugh's going back to the NFL. And I told you last week I had a source that said he's putting feelers out there, but Jim Harbaugh squished it immediately and said, hey, how come that rumor comes up every year during recruiting season? I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying at Michigan. We got big plans here. And it sounds like Jim Harbaugh's not going anywhere. And I do love the fact that he came out and he said, hey, I'm going to put my name on this thing. So if he does leave, we can hold him to it. When coaches don't talk and say no comment to this stuff, you know what they're saying. I want out. Harbaugh put his name on it. I'm staying. I got big plans here. I'm not going anywhere. People are trying to use this again. That is putting your name on it. And I got to give him, I've always felt he's leaving Michigan eventually. So Harbaugh, props to him. And for the record, college football needs more characters. I like crazy people. College football needs crazy people. And Harbaugh's a little crazy, so I think he's good for college football.
Where Colin was right?
Oh, when the Sixers put Jimmy Butler with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, I said they're going to be interesting, they're going to be fun, they're going to be but there's a lot of egos here. And this thing is going to be combustible. Well, Joel Embiid's already come out and said, I don't like the way I'm being used. I'm being used as a spacer, a stretch 5. That's why I'm only shooting 29%. Seems like the last couple of games, our setup has me starting on the perimeter, frustrates me. My body feels great. I'm not playing well. Well, what do you know? They've been together 2 weeks, and it's already combustible. Again, I like the move because I think men, not boys, win in this league. I like the grown-ups and the veterans and the Trevor Arises and the Jimmy Butlers. I like veteran players, not kids. But it is already predictably combustible in Philadelphia.
Where Colin was right?
Well, we predicted. Remember this Joy Friday? I said my lead Friday on the show was Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's going to play his best game of the year. Aaron hears everything. Aaron has rabbit ears. Aaron's amazing. But I said, if Mike McCarthy leaves and Aaron and the Green Bay Packers look great, it's kind of a passive-aggressive message that, see, I told you so. We got the problem out of town here with Mike McCarthy. Now, I don't think the problem is solely Mike McCarthy. I'm not saying that. I think Aaron can be, Aaron's great, but he can be difficult. But this was, I don't bet a lot on a lot of games. Mama getting a present tonight.
Well, this was a for sure reaction, too. Anytime that a team fires their coach, there's always that surge of emotion afterwards also in any sport. So let's see some consistency with this. But, yeah, this was – you definitely called it.
Colin right, Colin wrong on a Monday. Coming up next, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, Mike McCarthy, Winston Moss, former Miami Hurricane, by the way, played on one of the great college defenses of all time, won a national title there, won a Super Bowl, coaching on that Green Bay Packer team. He's knows all about the Green Bay culture. McCarthy gone, Aaron Rodgers staying, Aaron new contract, looking for a new coach, and Winston Moss will join us and have some thoughts on what happened, what's happening going forward. That's coming up. Chris Carter, too, this hour. Folks, want to make sure nothing comes between you and your family, you and your assets, your home security during the holidays.